A reflective presentation on attitude. My abstract. A discussion on how an attitude can change or develop over the course of a day. For this study, I have used what I feel is the angst that I literally have to embrace every day, and one that a lot of other folks have to too, the commute to and from work. The differences from morning to evening are a vivid contrast. In the morning, I can even set my cruise control and not really concern myself with the other drivers. Once I leave my house, it takes me roughly 55 to 65 minutes to get to work. Once the day is ended, though, everyone that lives in Denver has now decided to get on the interstate and hit their brakes. This will increase my drive time 50 to 75%. How and why this occurs is anyone's guess. We talk about the infrastructure not being built to handle the influx of people to Denver. Well, I believe it is a matter of people not really planning their trips. Did I mention everyone decides to drive in my direction? You would think that more drivers would be seen in the morning commute trying to eat their breakfast, arrange calls or meetings, or donning makeup as they are always running behind. But I have witnessed more drivers in the evening talking or texting or apparently checking emails than in the morning. Not to mention the ones that decide to try and eat dinner on the way home for whatever reason. And there are a number of elderly that I have been behind that I feel should not be on the road during rush hour. Yes, we all spend way too much time worrying about our social lives when we are behind the wheel. There needs to be a complete disconnect when we are. As for the functions of my attitude as well as those around me, they allow us to make room for the other drivers that appear completely oblivious to the rest of us. These are the ones that ignore the road signs and try to merge at the last minute, or decide that they are in the wrong lane altogether and shift over 3 lanes in order to make the exit coming up, causing everyone else to slam on their brakes so that an accident doesn't occur. There needs to be a plan in our journey. Just winging it at rush hour is too dangerous. And lastly, did I mention the attitudes allow us to maintain civility? Just a quick note to enlighten the mood. Ode to the drive home. Having an attitude of gratitude is not easy. Yelling and cussing and hate. Humor the ears of those that are oblivious to our motoring state. The Bible actually has a lot to say about maintaining a positive attitude, but I only had to look in a couple of books to find the few lasting notes, namely Proverbs and Philippians. Albeit there are a number of others that probably fit the premise here. I stayed with those that spoke to me. Proverbs 17:22 states, "A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." And then in Philippians, "Do all things without grumbling or questioning." This is a real issue for those that think they know it all. I still to this day have trouble with this one. I appear to question everything. And in Philippians 2:3 it states, "Do nothing from rivalry or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves." And in chapter 4, verse 6 in Philippians, it says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything live by prayer and supplication. With thanksgiving let your requests be made known to God." Sometimes it's hard to not feel anxious, to be able to let God take the wheel, as it may be said, and trust that we'll be home shortly. I believe it has to do with the fact that I am able to traverse the distance in the morning so much quicker that I do not understand why it takes so much longer in the afternoon. In conclusion, our attitude is not only driving our cars, it is driving how we interact with those around us. We cannot be certain of what is causing the driver directly in front of us to act the way that they are. We must be cognizant of the many variables that could be at play. Until we are able to walk in the shoes of those in front of us, we need to be patient. For there are a number of things that we are probably very well unaware of. They may have just come from a hospital or gotten a phone call that has upset them, learned of the passing of a loved one that they couldn't be there for. Whatever the reason, unless we walk in their shoes, we cannot fully understand what their motive is. So we need to be patient with all of those around us that might just be going through something that would cause us to do exactly what they are. Even with this being said, there are too many days in a row for something to be happening to every one of the drivers in the fast lane. We need to plan our trips and find ways to drive more efficiently. Thank you, and please find a way to drive safely out there. Your families are depending on you to make it home.